Hello my YouTube friends! Today I'm going to show you how to make this alert animation for your live streams using After Effects. Then I'm going to show you how to add it to your live stream in OBS using Streamelements. So let's get to it! If you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better YouTuber, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss any new content. This video is sponsored by Envato Place. If you're looking for custom overlays for your live stream, Envato Place has some incredible pre-made overlays. You can add move elements, change colors, and customize them in any way you want. It's so simple and easy to get great overlays in no time at all. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. Now let's create an alert. Custom alerts are an awesome way to spice up your live stream. When you see these on a stream, you know the streamer spent time to add elements to entertain the audience. The few hours you spend creating these fun elements will really pay off over the long haul. So be creative here and have fun. I'm going to use After Effects to create this alert, but you could probably make something like this in any editing software. Once you have After Effects open, you're going to click New Composition. You want to check to make sure that your height and width is correct. And you want to make this the duration you're looking for. I think about 7 seconds is good for me. Then I'm going to just make sure my frames per second is correct, and it is, and click OK. So now we have our composition. I'm going to drag in the Photoshop file that I created. And this isn't a necessary step, it's just something that I'm doing so I can see exactly what it's going to look like in the background. This is going to help me to figure out exactly where I want to place my alert. So when I drag it on, this menu comes up and I'm going to drop down the import kind and select composition, retain layer sizes. Then I'm going to select editable layer styles and click OK. Now I'm just going to drag the new overlay into my composition, then I'm going to double click it to open it up. And this shows you a little bit about what's in my overlay. And of course these grid lines are annoying, so I want to turn those off. Next, I'm going to import a package of files I got from Envato Elements. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. But you could use any smoke video file for this. I'm just using this pack because I have Envato Elements. I really like it. You should definitely check it out. But like I said, any smoke video file that's an alpha file that you can find on the internet is going to work, and I guarantee you there's plenty of free ones out there. So I just go to import and file, and then I browse to the location where the file's at, and it imports that in there, and I go in here into edit comps, and I'm just going to open these compositions up until I find the one I'm looking for. The only difference between these compositions and what you're going to be able to download off the internet is pretty much the coloring. They added a color filter on there so they could make these all pretty colors and that sort of stuff, and you're gonna see I'm gonna ruin that anyways. And I'm gonna select controller, and I need to go into the effects window for this, so I have to open that up. And now I'm just going to turn all of these colors from their pretty colors into gray, because I just want kind of more of a natural looking smoke effect. And once I do that, and everything looks exactly how I want it, I'm going to back out into my new overlay, and I'm just going to drag Control 11 on there. And once I do that, I'm going to make it invisible for a minute or two so we can create the other elements of our alert widget. So I'm going to go up here to the box tool, and I'm going to adjust the fill so it's black, and I'm going to turn stroke off completely. Then I'm going to just draw a box on the screen, and of course this is where the text is going to be. And then I'm going to move that into place in my overlay where I want it. And that's awesome. Next I want to put some text on the screen here. So I'm going to go and open up the text tool. And I have my little color palette as a layer inside this Photoshop. So I can activate that layer, and now I can select the colors for my text so I make sure that it matches the other text that are in the layout. And I'm just going to adjust the size and fix the stroke and move it into place right over top of that box. Alright, so now we have the box where our text is going to be written on. We want to reveal this box as the smoke goes over it. So now I'm going to make the smoke layer visible again, and I'm going to scale it down so that it covers our box. and kind of scroll back and forth to make sure that it's giving us the kind of coverage over the box that we want. Next, I'm going to use the ellipse tool to draw on top of our smoke layer, and it's going to act as a mask so that it's not just this massive huge layer. We only really want a segment of this. Then I'm going to select the arrow tool and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the size and the shape of this so it's pretty much exactly how I want it. Now, in order to make this look really cool and not like it's in this big circle that just cuts it off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and feather this, and I'm going to use the mask expansion so it goes out beyond the edges and it really feathers. And I'm going to feather this heavily because I kind of want it to look like it's disappearing in an organic way, not necessarily that hard edge. And that looks pretty good. That's what I'm looking for. So now we've got our smoke and it's completely covering our box, but you can see that when we pan backwards, the box never leaves. It's always there. Well, we want the box to kind of appear after the smoke rolls over it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our text layer and our smoke layer, and we are going to move it out to the center of the area where our smoke rolls over. And we're going to try to get to that point where we don't see that box until the smoke is fully covering that whole area. And then, of course, now when the smoke rolls over it, it'll reveal the box a little bit at a time, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Now when the smoke starts to clear, we're going to see our box there. That's exactly what we're looking for. Friggin' awesome. Now the last thing I'm going to do is have our box fade out. So I'm going to put my playhead somewhere near the end of the composition, just a few moments before the end. And I'm going to select the shape layer and the text layer and click T on the keyboard. And this brings up our opacity. And then I'm just going to click the stopwatch. This is 100% opacity. And then I'm going to move the playhead to the end of the composition. And I'm just going to adjust that opacity to 0. So this will fade out that bar at the end of the composition so it just looks like it's fading away. You have to go in and turn off all of the overlay and background stuff so that the only thing that is still visible is going to be your video element, the smoke element. And I just want to make sure that you understand really all we need is the smoke element, in this case Control 11, the thank you element, and the shape layer. And now what I'm going to do is export this so it's a usable format for Streamelements. So I'm going to click File and go to Export, and I'm going to select Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. And this is going to bring up the media encoder. And I have to wait a couple of seconds, and then boom, it populates. So I'm going to go and change PNG here. Yours could be anything, but the first one here on mine is PNG, and I'm going to drop that down and I'm going to select WebM. Then I'm going to click on the preset where it says Custom. And this is going to load up another screen so we can customize exactly how we want our WebM to render. So the first thing I'm going to do is select this output name and make sure that it's going to a folder where I know I can find it. Then I'm going to go down here where it says video, and I'm going to verify that it's 1920 by 1080, and I want to make sure that it's VP9. Then I'm going to adjust the quality up to about 80% or so. And the reason why you want to do this with WebM is because we're using not just transparency, but we're using transparency that has really feathered edges. And if you have this on a low quality, you're going to get low quality. It's not going to feather those edges so it looks like it's just kind of misty around the sides. And we really want that. So we're going to adjust this quality up to about 80%. We want to select 2-pass encoding if it's not already selected. And then, and this is really important, you want to make sure that you select Include Alpha Channel. This makes sure that we can actually see through it. Now, if your element is going to have any audio, you want to make sure you go in here and set your audio stuff correctly. But chances are you won't really even need to change this. If it does have audio, it should be just fine. Then all you need to do is click OK. And we're back here in the media encoder. You just click the play button and it's going to encode our WebM file. So once we open Streamelements and we have our channel registered and all that kind of stuff, all you have to do is go to My Overlays. In this case, I'm going to create a blank overlay, and I want this overlay to be 1080p, so that's perfect. I'm going to click Start. Now I'm going to go to Add Widget, and we're going to add alerts and alert box. And I'm going to select the subscriber alert, and I'm going to go to Change Video and Upload on the top right here. And I'm going to upload that WebM video that we just created. All you have to do is go to the location, and then I can just drag it right over this box, and it imports into Streamelements. Now I'm going to find the one I just imported and click Submit. And there we go. Now our element is in Streamelements, but you can definitely see that the box is not the correct size. It looks like we're in a 720 box or something. That's no good. Now I want to make sure that my layout is text over image, and that doesn't fix our problem. So what I'm going to do here is go up to the very top and click the X, and then down at the bottom I'm going to go to Position, Size, and Style. And here I'm going to put in 1920 by 1080 so that we have it totally and correctly set up. Now here you see I accidentally turned the opacity down to 64%. That is not a thing that you actually want to do. You're going to spend a while trying to figure out why your image is somewhat see-through when it really shouldn't be. So don't do that. Leave it at 100% so you get the crisp image that you're really looking for. Now I'm going to go back into settings and back into our subscriber alert, and we can go here and emulate it and click it, and we get an idea of what it's going to look like. We can see it back there. It looks just fine, but it doesn't have any text elements in it yet. So that is our next step. We want to put the text in there that's going to write in on our live stream. So I'm going to go down here to text settings, and I'm going to adjust it to left orientation. You can select your fonts and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to bother to do that here. I'm pretty sure that you can find fonts that you want to use. I'm going to create the top margin at 800. And basically what I'm going to try to do here is we're going to click on the emulate and see where our text shows up. So there you can see it's down at 800. And maybe we want it up just a touch here. So 790. And this is kind of what you're going to have to do. You have to change something and then go ahead and emulate it and see if it shows up where you want. And that looks like it's just about where we want it. So now we want to move that text to the left. And I don't think 200 is going to get it done. So let's try a bigger number. Let's see if 300. And we can see we're still not in the box. We're pretty far off. I think 440 is the magic sweet spot. There we go. Kind of lines up with our other text. It looks perfect. Now I'm going to change the 790 to 795. Move it down just a hair so it's totally centered. Let's give it one more shot here. You know what? Let's move this little widget up here so it's not covering where we're actually trying to see. And then we'll kick it off again, and you can see, boom, looks perfect. But here's the problem. Our animation is over and it disappears, but the text doesn't. So we want to fix that problem. We're going to go back in here. So in order to fix this problem, we want to go down to animation settings. And first we're going to make our text animation come in a really cool way. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the text animation settings bounce in, and we're going to set the exit animation to bounce out down. Now I'm going to delay the appearance of our text. And you kind of have to play around with this too, but we don't want the text to appear until after the cloud has already moved past. So we just have to find that sweet time of the delay that's going to be just perfect to put our text there right after that cloud has passed. And that probably is going to work, about the 3-second mark. Now we see that our box disappears, but our text is still there. So we're going to have to adjust the text offset. On the other side, we want the text to disappear, obviously, before the box does. So this is another one where you're just going to have to set it and emulate it and see where your text disappears. And I get it wrong many times here. But eventually I figure out that right around 3.5 seconds seems to be the sweet spot. And when I emulate it there, you can see the text appears perfectly on screen when it's supposed to, and then it zips out when the box starts to fade away. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, all I have to do is save this, and I could put a name in the overlay. We'll call this one Smoke Alert, then I'll click Save. I'm going to go over here to the left, and I'm going to go ahead and click out of there, and then I'm going to select which alerts I want to use for this particular smoke widget. I'm going to turn them all off, and we're just going to use the subscriber alert for now, but you can obviously go in here and modify these so they're all totally different if you want. So you can use the smoke for one alert or all of them, or you can have an individual alert for every single one. Really cool. The last step, we want to make sure we save the changes we just made and then copy the URL with this little link button in the top right hand corner. Now all we have to do is go into OBS and add our alert widget. So here we are in OBS. I just click the plus on the scene I want to add the widget to, and I go to Browser. And I can type in the name of the widget. In this case, it's going to be our Smoke Alert. And I'm going to click OK. Now, where it says URL, we're just going to copy in that link we just got from Streamelements. And I'm going to change the width and the height properly, 1920 by 1080. And then I'm going to click OK. And now we're ready to test our widget. So now that we've added it to OBS, all we need to do is test it to make sure it works. And to do that, we're going to flip back over to Streamelements, and we're going to go to Emulate, and I'm just going to click the subscriber event like 20 times, just to make sure that it keeps happening for a little while. And then all I have to do is flip back into OBS, and we're going to see it continue to happen again and again for a little while. And this gives me the opportunity to watch it and see that everything is working properly. And once I'm sure it is, I think we're good to go. Now all that's left is to use this in our live stream, and it's going to be epic. If you have a question about using Streamelements to add custom or any alerts to your live stream, leave a comment and let me know. I respond to everyone. I want to thank Envato Place for sponsoring this video. Please check the link in the description for some amazing tools that can help any YouTuber. And if you want to see how to create custom alerts in Streamlabs OBS, check this video out right here. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Fire Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.